Hi, hello, welcome, Doodle Crew. We're back. It's lovely to see all of you. It's lovely to be back. I'm here with some amazing artists, and we're gonna have some pun fun. Yeah, I said it. We're doing punny mashups today. So this has been a fun topic, I think, honestly, circling around since season 1. So we've done a few different ones, but we've kind of had this one in the canon. We're here to do it. So let's go around. Let's introduce and talk about the fun punny mashups we're doing today. So Keah, we'll go to you first.
Hi, I'm Keah. Go by Keah or Keah Art now. I'm kind of doing a rebrand, but you can find me, well, probably not Twitter anymore if the things keep going the way they are, but definitely Instagram, Tumblr, and I know there's some new ones coming around the bend too, so probably on those as well. So my puns today, I decided to do Pokemon puns because Pokemon names are pretty much puns already, so they just kind of fit well. So the one I'm kind of finishing up here, this is Pyratata. My little pirate with a little gold tooth. The next one I'm going to work on is a Nidoqueen. Knit, like knitting. If you explain the joke, it's funnier, right? And then I have a couple others. I got War Tortellini. I got Unicone or Rapidash. So Humanitine. So we'll see what happens.
Yay!
So mine are all Pokemon puns.
Pokepuns.
Pokepuns.
All right, and Mayor Squish, hello.
Hello. You can find me everywhere online at Mayor Squish or Mayor Squish Art. And I'm doing Picasso because I couldn't think of anything better. And I thought it was going to be fun to mess around and draw a person that doesn't have to look like a person. So
Yay!
always
Hey,
a plus.
We love people who don't look like people. It's way more fun. No, I'm excited. And I feel like that gives you, a lot of play in which parts of which character, we'll say, because they're kind of both characters you can lean into. So, yay! Oh, I like it. I'm excited. All right, so I'm going to do my reference reveal. So I am Swan. I'm at a swan named Emily all across the internet. You can find me here. You can find me on podcasts, Sketching Shakespeare, Doodle Crew, all the things. Friday is my normal Twitch stream day. And if you want to follow Doodle Crew, you can follow Doodle Crew Draw all across the internet where we post art. And I am doing Defying Gravity Falls. Is what I'm doing. So I'm doing a Wicked Gravity Falls mashup because I too struggled to figure out something to do. So I think because Gravity Falls style is very simple and I'm going off of the Wicked poster, I'm going to try and do it in two styles, of one where it's Gravity Falls style and one where it is more Wicked style. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
So is Dipper Elphaba then, or?
I think so, because he's got the book and he's got the hat, was my thought, because I really wanted to have the hat covering the eyes. So yeah.
Also, Mabel is more the gossip.
Yes. So I was really trying to figure out, because I was like, man, Elphaba's kind of the outcast and like cool with being weird and not the rule follower, and that's definitely more Mabel. But I was like, for a visual setup, like the hat really works better. So yeah. I just I found a picture too with him holding the book, because I was like, oh, Elphaba has a book too. But I'm pretty sure this was a, I forgot the word. A prompt that was suggested by the chat back a while ago. I think this one came from Dell. So I've had it. I went back to the old archives of Doodle Crew prompts that I had saved. So all right. I'm just going to apologize now for my sniffles. I'm going to try not to sniffle right into the microphone, but I am in fact fighting a cold, so I'm a little bit more nasally than normal.
had to give my Rattata Jack Sparrow beard. So hopefully that reads.
I love the gold tooth. That's just wonderful.
Oh, good, because I wasn't sure if that like red as a gold tooth or like I don't know. He ate something weird.
I mean, could be both. I think it's by far the most I've enjoyed a Rattata ever. So
they are sort of the worst.
They're just the worst. Like I have disliked them since the original Red on Game Boy. Just like I don't want another one. I don't.
I was perfectly like apathetic to Rattatas until I started the Pokemon Go, and in the first like week, that's all you could catch.
Yup.
That and the Goldbat.
Oh,
I'm just like,
yes.
yep. Now I hate Rattatas.
Yep.
Didn't have an issue with your kind, but now
now I feel like I also it was either the tall grass or it must have been the tall grass right before you got into like one of the caves early on in the game where I felt like I just spent so much time just being stuck, constantly running into encounters with Rattatas and then trying to get into the cave and same, just all the flying bat types. And I'm just like, I hate this. No. It's okay. Me and my little Charmander made it through.
Aw, you're a Charmander starter?
I am a Charmander starter. I loved him. Oh, that's a good question. And we were talking about this a little bit before with the new Pokemon game coming out. None of us are playing it yet, but what are you thinking? Because I'm assuming all of us have considered which starter we would go with. What are you thinking for the pretty leaf kitty? You got the terrible water duck with the great hair, and then you've got Mr. Nothing Behind His Eyes, little dinosaur. Fuecoco, I think, or something like that.
I kind of like Fuecoco. He's cute, and I have no idea what he's going to turn into. I'm sure it's out there already, but it's like,
Yeah. Oh, that's good, Birdman. We were all talking about how we all kind of want to play it, and we're waiting just a little bit. But I'm definitely excited about it. I haven't played a Pokemon game in a long time, and I think it would be fun.
I apologize if you asked a question. My Bluetooth decided to stop right at that second.
No, you're good. It was out of the new Pokemon game, which starter do you think you'd go with?
Okay, just based on the looks of them in their first evolution, Grass Cat. But Spagato, I think. But I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they've released what the final evolution looks like. And to me, that always matters.
Yep.
Like, that's why I also go for Charmander, because his final is this big, hulking, complementary colored dragon-looking thing.
Yeah.
And that is, I'm all about that.
Yep. No, I'm almost exactly the same with, I love the look of Leaf Kitty, but if you give me some weird bipedal monster for the final evolution, I'm gonna be sad about it.
Right? Keep them cute.
Cute. What was it? Tora Cat? I don't know if that's the base one, but
Torch Cat?
Yeah, like super cute, like black and red cat. I'm like, I love this. And the final, I'm like, I hate this.
It's like one of those muscle guys at the beach.
Yeah.
With anger management issues, and I don't want a Pokemon with that.
No.
So, yeah. Of the new ones, I like Grass Cat the best, but it all depends, I think.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I do love absolute nothing behind his eyes, little fire dino, because I'm like, I relate to this.
Oh, the little apple gator?
Yeah. Jeez. I'm going to apologize now, just in case I drop out or for any reason the stream goes down. The sky just opened up and the rain came pouring down, so I might lose power. I hope not. I'm gonna save right now. Also, what up, Jesse Betts? Were you a Bulbasaur guy? Bulbasaur starter? Yeah. Yeah, Vineyard Warrior sent me a clip earlier of just the wind blowing across the lake there, and it was nuts. So, yeah.
Nope.
There we go.
Well, that's another thing, going back to an earlier conversation we were having regarding having to get used to the app version of drawing programs.
Mhm.
I've now been using drawing programs so long, I forget keyboard shortcuts. Like, not I forget what they are, I forget that they exist. So I keep going over to get the eraser brush, and it's like, no, but the E key is right there.
Yep.
It's a very odd feeling to remember something that was so intrinsic.
So much, yes. Yeah, I'm curious. I have a Bluetooth keyboard that I'm curious if will work with the iPad that I'm getting and everything. And I was like, okay, so do I keep, setting up keyboard shortcuts for it, or do I, like you said, lean into, going over and clicking things? Because I feel like I'm so fast with my keyboard shortcuts in digital art, and it's something that I find challenging when I'm working on a tablet because I don't have that. We'll see. We shall see.
These kids these days and their newfangled technologies. Pogo sticks and apps and TikToks. And...
Oh, that's not... So along the lines of the topic for today, are you the person in the friend group who is the one who makes the puns, or are you the one in the friend group who groans at the puns being made?
I mean, I am both.
That is a good question. That's a good personality test. Personally, for me, I have one friend group wherein myself and another gentleman by the name of Phil get into pun duels, and everyone else has to deal with that. So we'll just be minding our own business, and then he says something, so you got to make a rebuttal, and then 20 minutes later, It's still going.
That's fantastic.
So I guess the answer is I need encouragement, but I will absolutely be the friend that does the puns. But they don't come out of nowhere. They have to be instigated by competition.
That's fair. I like that. Yeah, I take very little instigation to get me started, and if anybody groans at it, it fuels me. You know, it is the best power up, and then I will not stop. So yes,
Like your dad powers activate.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I am definitely the dad friend of the group. It's like, yep.
You're the high hungry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Emily friend.
Oh yes. Yeah, I think there's only one other friend who is very much, she'll usually pick up any dirty or lewd pun. She's always on top of those very quickly, but I'm equal opportunity pun maker.
Unslinger.
Makes me sound very cool.
Like a swashbuckler.
Yeah. I've definitely been called out for it too in the past, because there would be times where someone will say something and, you know, people will look at me and they're like, even before you opened your mouth, your face said, "Oh, I'm going to make a terrible pun." And I was like, oh yeah, I can't contain that. I am far too excited to make the terrible pun, to hold that in.
I really wish I remember who they were to me, but it was a gentleman, like one of those in passing people that like, you know, at a bar, at a restaurant, and you know you're never going to see him again. But anyway, so he made such an impression because he said puns are the best form of humor because they're the only type of humor where it won't hurt anyone. And it means like how something or someone always has to be the butt of a joke. Yep. Or like with pranks or anything, but puns, the butt of the joke is a language, and no one's going to take offense to that. I mean, like people will groan. It's painful in that sense, but it's not offensive. It's not hurtful. It doesn't make any one person into the victim.
Yeah.
Or the joke. And I was like, at that point, I was just like, oh, puns are just that corny thing that dads say. And it's like, no, actually, they are a legitimately kind of innocent and wholesome form of humor because of that.
I like that.
I wish I remember what he was to me, because he wasn't, maybe he was like a teacher that I didn't have, but that I like met in passing or something. It's like, what other wisdom could you give me, sir?
And I think I was, again, much the same. And I can't remember what it was that I was listening to, but it was someone kind of being critical of comedy. And I think it was probably in a rebuttal to, you know, the constant thing of someone will say something offensive and people will get offended by it, and then the comedian will rag on the audience for being offended. But it was this really nice distillation of talking about, you know, punching up versus punching down, and how you respect some comedians more because of their ability to punch up against people who are in more power above them, or who have more social capital, or all of these things where it's, you know, you're punching against the institution of capitalism and the shenanigans that all of that is, rather than punching down on an already minority or disenfranchised group.
I see.
So it was just, and it was interesting because it's kind of to the point you said earlier, was like, oh no, joke gets funnier when I explain it. But it was an interesting way of talking about how, like you said, using language can be so powerful especially in comedy, and who you choose to turn that language on matters. And it was really fascinating. It was a really nice way to kind of talk through that, because it was one of those where, and I will say, very ever so slight trigger warning to that, I believe the topic that had kind of spawned it was someone talking about sexual assault and how they would use that as like the punchline of their joke, and how people are like, yeah, it's not funny. Like, that's not, you're not saying anything that is breaking new ground or doing anything with that. You're literally punching down on someone who has had the worst thing happen to them. And so it was interesting.
I feel like I've heard that term before, but never quite understood what it meant, the punching up. But that makes a lot of sense now that you say it that way.
These are the times where I feel like I wish I could just have the video queued up, because I'm like, a person much more eloquent than me said this real good. I am going to terribly paraphrase it, but it was good. It made me feel smart.
Smart person said this. Go find smart person.
Yes.
I just cliff note smart person.
Yep. My terrible brain, I'm like, oh, this is really great. You should remember it. And brain's like, I'm going to remember half of it, but not the halves you want, like the citation or where to find it again. Cool.
I do that for some of my color theory classes because, like, for not necessarily art related, but some cool like color theory stuff, like the whole thing about magenta not being real.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, that is definitely a explanation, because kids will ask me like, what do you mean it's not real? And I was like, well, here's a video of a scientist explaining it, because I don't good big words well.
Yep.
And I can watch those videos as much as I want, but it doesn't like sink into my brain the explanation. Like, I understand the concept in a visual format, but then like relating that in the scientific terms
not
doesn't
so
happen.
much.
So then I just want to yell at them like, it's not real. That's what your takeaway is. Then they're students and they're curious and they want to know how. So yeah, for what you're saying, I constantly am like throwing other videos at them where like an actual scientist does the big word thing.
Yep.
Nope, not for me.
Yeah, Jessie Betts, even things that I am very confident in and very, very good at explaining, they're still like, but wait, why? I'm like, oh, here, watch this video. Watch someone else say it to you, and then maybe you will believe me. But yes, sources are good. It is good to have them.
Also, it lends some credibility. Maybe it's like, look, I'm not the only one saying this.
Yes. There's definitely some things where, and it's, again, I will never be able to come up with an example on the spot because that's not how my brain works, but it won't be the things that I expect the students to get like hung up on and be like, wait, what do you mean by this thing? Like, it'll be something totally else where I'll be teaching and all of a sudden they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, seriously, this is the thing? This is the thing we're going to now spend 20 minutes discussing? All right. But it's funny. Kids is funny.
Had that too. It was peacock mantis shrimp. I was going over like, because we kind of have to go over how the human eye sees color, and going over cone cells, and then just as like a throwaway, I was like, oh yeah, and by the way, humans, we have 3 cone cells. That's pretty cool, but we're actually babies in the we're good for mammals, but we're sucky for the rest of the animal kingdom. And here's the record holder, peacock mantis shrimp, like 16 cone cells, whatever. And then they went off and it's like, let us learn more about this weird crustacean that like punches with the speed of a bullet. And gosh, there's some other like weird things. It's bigger than people think. So then of course we're just going off on like a Animal Planet tangent because they won't let it go.
Yep.
And then we're watching videos of people who like keep them in tanks and like how they feed. And I have a few students that are just like so wrapped up into it. It's like, this is a color theory class, but sure, let's.
But you're right. We're gonna spend more time on this now.
Let's learn about this.
Oh god, they're so funny. They're such little weirdos. I love it. I think that's why, there's been times where like I don't mind providing outlines for my classes and stuff like that. And I definitely, have a specific list of things I want to cover. But because it's just it is an elective class. It's at an art center. This is something the kids choose to do. We're not a college, we're not a high school. Like these are just you take this because you want to take this class. And so, I always laugh when they're like, well, you really need to submit a syllabus. And I'm like, I couldn't submit a syllabus even if I wanted to, because every week is something totally different than what I actually had planned. And while we'll still cover the technique talk that I want, like we had a very in-depth conversation about the mechanics of the squid characters in Splatoon and all of this and like how you do this and everything. And I was like, I didn't have that planned, but they were so excited about it and they were talking to each other and we were drawing those characters. I'm like, I'm not going to stop that from happening.
Sometimes just keeping them interested is so special.
That's a win right there. If they are excited, like, the best compliments I get are the kids are like, wait, class is over already? And I'm just like, oh, yay. Thank you. I'm so glad you said that to me. Okay, I'm reading your comment, Jesse. One thing I've had explained to me at some point is you only need to be ready to answer 2 questions down. Like down the train of thought, or hey, nice. Excellent.
Rat hands are hard.
Boy, if that isn't just a whole mood.
Rat hands?
Rat hands. Again, we come back to Don Bluth, where I'm just like, you're weird, man, and your stuff scared me, but gosh darn it, if you don't draw a really convincing rat character in many different, like, iterations.
Rats are hard to draw. And rat hands are like weird people claws with like an extra digit.
Yeah. All right. Hide that. Get rid of that. Good. All right. When we were talking about it, I think it was the last episode of Doodle Crew, with Joey and Jeff, where we really get into because it was a style challenge. We were drawing one character in multiple styles, and how, especially like Pokemon and some of the like Adventure Time stuff, the styles are so deceptively simple that it looks really easy, but as soon as you get like one line kind of off, like it betrays it as not looking like the source material that you're trying to emulate. And so
That's true though.
and I think it's, I definitely notice it with my students when drawing Pokemon. Like I was like, no, they're a great teaching tool because they're all simple shapes. And it's a really great thing to learn construction of a character and all of that. But if you're trying to just match how some of these characters look, especially Pikachu is deceptively difficult to draw.
Funny enough, I watched a video and I actually used it in a class because going back to that whole like, oh, you need to hear it from someone else because I am not of that. It was going over the whole like nonsense with the golden ratio, Fibonacci number, like that whole thing. And it's like, I can explain it in an art sense, but it's not an art principle. It's a mathematic principle. And I'm not that much very good. So here's a mathematical just so that the people in here who are also like math minded.
Yep.
Because there are plenty of artists that like get that and then they like that numerical mathematical explanation better than what I can do. So I show them the video, and anyway, the one video that I brought up was very good at explaining and like went over the concept very quickly. But they also used Pikachu as an example of a perfect amount of the ratio with like the size of the body versus the ears, and it was going over like the big, medium, small theory in art with like the principles of design combined with the ratio of the golden ratio, and how Pikachu's design and the different elements that make him up fit that. And I was like,
Oh my
really?
gosh.
I guess so. So it's funny that you mentioned he's so simple, and you're right, because if you draw him a little bit smaller ears or a little bit bigger hands, he breaks the ratio, which is
Yeah,
part intrinsic to his design.
that's so funny.
Pikachu, who knew?
I know. Deceptive little lightning rat. Yes, and exactly. Yeah. Tiny flower sacks with ears. Yeah. It was very fun to me once I started seeing flower sack stuff animated out in the world after we had done it in school, where I was like, oh, look at that. Look at all those little flower sacks moving around.
Okay. Way too much on that rat hand. Rat hand is hard.
Jessie Beth says, board game called Pie Rats, where you are pirate rats who are doing game theory to try and gather the most best trash. Yes. Oh, that's a really good point. Tying a lot of this into not just teaching, but the ability to pivot if you are DMing or game mastering. Because undoubtedly your characters are going to ask a question that you didn't have prepared, or therefore try to break your game immediately. And be like, okay, I have this whole thing planned out. I've got the whole city. I've got all the places that they could possibly go ready to go. I've got NPCs set. And they're like, we're going to leave town and set fire to it. You're like, what? What? World's most okayest DM? Never. You never game with a whole bunch of murder hobos who break your game and ignore all your cool dialogue. World's most okayest DM is the DM of Botched a D&D podcast, of which is comprised completely of murder hobos who break the game at any chance they get. Yes, that's a good point. If you can start to understand the chaos, you can start to kind of predict which way they're going to attempt to break. Yeah, it's funny to me because I feel relatively comfortable in a teaching setting now. Especially for the classes that I teach. I've been teaching similar types of classes for many years now, so I'm very comfortable. I feel like I can pivot if the class needs it and all of that stuff. None of that confidence transfers over into even thinking about running a game. I was like, nope. I don't have the brain power to plan out a D&D adventure and actually run it as a campaign. That is beyond my brain. Nope. I would like someone to do it for me, please and thank you.
I've been very fortunate that I've just had pretty good DMs, so it's just, to me, feels like a very hard act to follow.
Mm. I remember the very first time I ever played anything D&D, I had a not so great DM. So it set the bar very low for me in a way. But then as I started to encounter people who were much better at it, I was like, oh, okay, I see why this could be fun. This makes a lot more sense. But I also think for a very long amount of time, I lacked the confidence to role play as much as I think would have given me more fun out of the games because I was just so nervous. I was nervous about not knowing the rules and what to do, and I was just not a confident actor. So, yeah, I struggled with that for a while. And then I hit my 30s and I just don't care anymore now.
I was gonna say, you do all the stage play stuff, right?
Yep. Well, and it's funny because like ad-libbing and being comical and improv in dance doesn't bug me, but to do it in an acting sense or in a verbal sense, I don't think I'm as strong at that. So what are the rules? What are these rules? They're more like guidelines. Yes. Yes. Ultimate freedom in my 30s. I just don't care anymore. Yeah. Because I remember we had to do like whose line is it anyways type stuff in one of our classes in college, and I was just so stressed about it. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I'm not funny. I'm not a comedian. What are you trying to do to me? I just want to draw. Why are you making me doing this? So there's two D&D podcasts that I actively listen to, and I enjoy it because each of the DMs are very different. World's Most Okayest DM being one of them. But there's always these great moments where the players will say something and you can hear the DMs like gears turning. You're like, yeah, okay, roll for that. And like, well, what do I roll? And I'm just like, we're going to pick something because I don't know what you're doing. And it's just, they're just wonderful moments. I can't draw circles today.
I have one of my DMs. It's actually a very, I think we're on our 3rd year now, which for a DM campaign is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And I always associate her like DM style with like a mom who's like, okay, no, like the hard mom that's like, okay, see what happens. It's like, Mom, I'm gonna sled down the stairs in a laundry basket, and the mom's like, well, there's a chance of broken bones, but it comes with a lesson. So it's like, I'll let you do it. Go ahead. Let's see where it takes you. And so she definitely has that like stern quality almost. And it's like, okay, go for it. And so you can never tell when we've completely disrupted her plans and when she like, you know, had a whole campaign that we just left the village on fire for. Yep. Because she very much like plays that close to the vest. And she's like, yeah, you can leave the town. Let's see what happens. So either she just hides all of that so well, the like frustration with us, or she's also very well organized. So I could also believe that she just like has the entire world already built out. So like whatever we do, doesn't matter.
Oh.
But yeah, she does make us suffer for our decisions very well.
Yeah, so I will say for Dennis's game, the name of the show is Botched. So the specific thing is that if they roll a 1, something terrible will happen to them. So it's very much built into their worlds. which I think is very funny because it's like, no, you can absolutely do whatever you want. Just know that, if you botch, something terrible is going to happen to you.
I mean, this isn't a right or wrong. This is just an everyone's opinion thing, mainly for DMs. But the whole how, I guess not literal. Maybe the word is realistic. Do you make the players be? For example, do they need all ingredients at all times? Do they have to collect their arrows, or is it just implied that they collected? Like, I know our DM, we have to say that we ate. We have to say that we got our objects that we threw, or what spells we assigned or whatever. Like, she's very much down to the letter of that, and she even like takes into account like the weather and times of day and stuff like that.
Dang.
Which I know a lot of players would probably find very frustrating, but because we're RPing, we actually do enjoy that. So as a group, it's like a collective decision. But because of that, we have to plan things out very well.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of players would be very frustrated. Like, really? I have to say that I went and got my arrow out of the dead orc? You can't just assume.
No, and I think, and this was something, again, because I was so new to D&D, I didn't really have any familiarity with it until college. I don't think I realized that you as a player, you have the option to find a DM who has a style that you like playing in, because I think that's absolutely a style that people like and enjoy. And then it's also, I was like, man, I would be terrible at that because I'm constantly forgetting to say stuff like that. Like, in my brain, I'm like, oh yeah, I would definitely do that, but I don't say it out loud, and getting penalized for that. So.
Yeah, like you said, it's a style, and that is a good point, that as a player, you have the option of like checking a book out of a library. It's like finding the DM that works for you.
Yep.
Yeah, now that I'm even thinking about it, it's like it's even more strict than I'm realizing, because she'll if we have player talk, and then we have character talk, and like if our characters don't say the thing, like, oh, my character said such and such to the rest of the group, the other people don't know it. We don't take for granted that we just share information. What the player knows is not always what the character knows, and we play that very literally. But then also, if our characters are talking for too long, she penalizes us. Like, if we're deciding how to attack a thing, she's like, well, you were talking too long, it took an opportunity attack. Like, you as the players can't discourse for too long because it's like your characters are discoursing.
Yeah.
In the battlefield.
Yes, I was going to say, definitely, like, in the battle, I enjoy sometimes where the DM will be like, you've literally been talking for 10 minutes. Like, it could have killed you by now.
Yeah. And I thought I'd hate that, and I actually end up really liking it because it makes us make snap decisions, but then it also just feels like the tension is so much more there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. There's actual, like, a sense of dread, anger, or a sense of menace, or there's another word that I cannot think of. Also a reason why I think I'd be a bad DM, because I'm like, you do the thing, the thing that you do when you're trying to do this, and yeah.
It's also interesting to try to, I don't want to say sneak your way around it, but if you, the player, know something, but your character doesn't know that thing, you can't do it.
Right.
In the game. And I kind of enjoy that, even though it is frustrating, because you're trying to, it's like you're yelling at your character from the sidelines, like the yelling at the horror movie, like, don't go in the basement.
Don't go in the basement. What are you doing? Yeah. Again, I'll say difference of young player versus a more mature, mature is the wrong word, a player who has had a little bit more experience. One, I was very precious with my characters because I was so new to the game and I didn't understand how to build characters. I was like, I have this one. I can't ask somebody else to help me build another character if I die. And so I was so afraid that something would happen, that I would do something wrong, and the character would die, and then I'd have to go through that character creation all over again because it was stressful to me. But so it made sense in my brain. I was like, I am gonna kind of metagame some because I want to keep them alive. But there is a fun to going into a campaign where you're like, you might not survive, and that's okay. Like having the flexibility to be like, okay, if I do die, this will be what my next character is. Or if you have someone who's running a game where you've spent a lot of time with these characters, now I know in one of the friends campaigns they had to go to hell to get that character and bring them back type stuff. So it's learning that the bounding box of the adventure can actually kind of make it more fun because it causes you to be more creative or be more thoughtful with what you're doing, and that's a lot of fun. But that was just stressful to me as a younger player because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm already so stressed. I'm like, I have to roll what dice? What am I doing? I feel so stupid.
It's like a memory game. What do I have to do?
Seriously. But I think it's it is a true testament to experienced players who are willing to game with inexperienced players or people who just have not been playing as long and they're fine asking questions. And I have a very distinct memory of an early game that I played in where I went to go and do something and the rest of the table was like, you didn't check for traps. And I'm like, is that a thing that I am supposed to do?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. Like, my character would have just walked into this situation. Like, one, Emily didn't know, and the character didn't know. But it was this very, like, now I'm so afraid to do something wrong because you'll know. So it was nice to have experiences where, we'll say maybe the more expected events in D&D didn't necessarily happen, or if they did, they'd kind of been turned on their head a little bit. So yeah, you can check for traps, but in doing so, it triggers something else. And it was an interesting evolution to get to a place where I felt much more comfortable playing and being vulnerable.
That's why, like, starter campaigns, like where everyone knows, like, okay, either one or everyone is new, not new to each other, but like new to the game.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll allow like mulligans and do-overs and like the not check for trap thing. Like, oh, I would have if I knew to do that. It's like, okay, well, I'll let you go back and do that.
Yep. So again, it speaks to quality DMs. I think it's the video game idea versus the enjoyment as a group imaginative role playing thing. I was like, no, if you just want me to be good at this video game, I have to practice because I'm not just naturally good at it. If you want to, if we want to have fun with the fact that my character is a little bit silly and doesn't know these things, like we can do that too, and you can find a nice way to kind of incorporate that into the story.
Something you said made me think of something, and now I forget what it was.
Oh, story of my life. Also, Mayor Squish, that is looking so cool.
Thank you. It is an adventure.
It is. So what color, I'm not sure if the camera is picking up, what color is the background?
Yeah, it's kind of a murky, sagey green.
Okay.
I think it's kind of accurate.
Yeah, it was picking up very, very gray, so I didn't know if there were tones in it that it was missing or...
No, it's very gray, but it's also a little bit green, so...
Nice.
I remember the weird thing I was going to say.
Yes.
Because we've been talking so much about DMs. There are all those like weird holidays, like National Donut Day. We should have a National Appreciate Your DM Day.
Should. Hear that, Dennis? You should get your players to appreciate you. And also he said something. So my players will not allow that. And he was also saying that's why I put traps in that don't go off unless you try to disarm them, or put traps that aren't traps and it just messes with the party. My favorite was a room with a locked door and a big red button and a countdown timer. Hitting the button reset the timer. Nothing happens if the clock hits 0, but they don't know that. Yes. And Jessie Beth says the lost trap. I am, as still a more novice player, I'm very appreciative of things that are kind of built in to mess with the more experienced players who like you're expecting this thing and this is what would normally happen. And now, like I said, beautiful freedom in my 30s of just being like, I go and do the thing. It might be, you know, like honestly, and this was absolute complete credit to Mike, who is on the In Addition podcast with me and also plays on Adventure Incorporated D&D podcast. He was talking about how sometimes it's fun to do the wrong thing. And not necessarily in a, you know, get your whole party killed way, but just be a human and do the kind of bad thing. And I was like, oh, like the idea of making it a purposeful thing where I was like, no, I don't have to overthink this. Like, I'm just going to go over and do this thing. And then the resulting chaos of it ends up kind of being the fun part. But I almost needed to get to that point of comfort and also permission in my head to be like, oh, I can do this. And I'm not ruining the game. I'm not making it less fun for the other players, but we're having a, you know, a funny then work to solve this new puzzle thing.
When you say do the wrong thing, do you mean like when everyone's trying to do charisma and you're just like, I shoot the guy in the face?
Yep.
Like that sort of thing?
Yep.
Okay.
You be the chaos gremlin. Or I would say, you know, in that there was one so it's appropriate for this topic for drawing today. I've been a part of 2 one-off campaigns, the Guild of Granddaughters, and the whole
That's
theme
a cool
of it.
Name.
Oh, it's great. I'm so proud of those episodes. It's just so much fun. But the whole thing is escape the pungeon, and every single interaction is a pun, or we have to essentially figure out. One of the very early ones was there, you know, you come up and you're in a big room, and the only way to get through this room is to break this huge, thick sheet of ice. And you do it by offering up something about your character. So it's literally an icebreaker. And like, it's so well done and it's so fun. But there's all of these things where I love it. And it's funny because once the pun is revealed, it makes so much sense. But when you're in the moment, you're like, oh, what are they doing? What are they doing to us? But yeah, so it's awesome. I love it. This past year we performed it live at Dragon Con and it was so much fun. But at one point, like one character goes up, they hit this thing with a stick and they pop out of existence and you don't see him anymore. And like, so the rest of the group is all standing there and they're talking for a bit. And then I was just like, yep, I go up and I hit it too. Cause like in my brain, I'm like, my character got bored and just wanted to do the thing. So
cause the chaos.
Yep. But yeah. If anybody is interested, I can link you to those episodes.
I do like the idea of a pungeon.
It's very fun. There's a wonderful moment. It's probably one of my favorite moments from the live show where the DM says something to me and says, you know, it's this thing. And I look back at them because me as an actual player doesn't know. And I was like, do I know that? Do I actually know that? And it was a wonderful moment. So very, very fun. Oh, jeez. So World's Most Chaos DM says one of my favorite one-offs is when I had Adventure Inc. playthrough where the red fern grows. Yep, that
How
face.
odd.
They had to make sure the book happened. Yes, Jesse Betts. Hi, you've now unlocked the secret of Dennis as a DM. He said, that's dark AF. You monster. Yeah. Amazing. Also, March 4th, anniversary of Guy Gax's passing. Very fitting. Also, Mayor Squish, I'm so sorry that we're doing all of this on a day when Paul can't join us because I feel like he's going to be like, I have so many thoughts. It's just making me want to play D&D. They wanted to play as they wanted to play as dogs, so I made them Wishbone's assistants, and someone was trying to undo the book, so they had to show the. Oh my gosh, that's so clever, though. I love that. It was great when, as dogs, they're trying to operate guns. At one point, they dressed up as mountain lions just in case. Amazing. Amazing. Was that a Patreon episode? Adventure Incorporated Patreon. Nice. Funny. Nope.
See, this is the issue. How far do you take a drawing for a pun? It's like now I'm giving it like lighting, and it's.
I was gonna say
it's a pun.
I am all for the if you're enjoying it, go for it.
Just a little, and then I'll move on. Just a smidge.
All the way. Vineyard Warrior says absolutely. Absolutely. Also, that lighting looks great, so I'm here for all of it.
I think that's the part I enjoy the most. I do the art just to get to the coloring process.
Ooh, and build your own coloring book? Ooh. I do want to make a coloring book of something at some point. But I think for me, that's because I love sketching and inking, and I think I'm bad at coloring. So I'm like, here, let me do all of the things that allow me to not color.
I did a coloring book once, but it was for my friend's daughter as like a birthday present, which she asked for. It wasn't just me like, aha, instead of buying you one, I'll make one. No, like my friend had like framed some of my art for like her child's bedroom.
Aww.
Like without me knowing, like she just liked it. So I was like, oh, okay, well then I'll draw more. That was the only coloring book I ever did. but they're becoming popular, those like adult coloring books.
Absolutely. Also, I will say there's been a couple of times where I've just like sat down to color with kids and stuff like that. And I'm like, when it's not my own art and it's not for a specific project, this can be very relaxing.
It's like, oh, I miss this. I have
Yeah.
the memories of doing it as a child, and I miss it.
Yep. Actually, I think I'm going to do this in a different program because it's going to be easier.
Yes. I don't know what it is about being a pirate, but you just need a black mustache. For some reason, the purple mustache wasn't working. Or goatee, I should say. Mustache and goatee.
Is there a name for that combination?
Yeah, the dudes will have to answer that.
Chad, I'm looking at you. Jesse Betts. I blame Dom. Funny enough, we were talking about Dom, I think, before we went live. So,
Yes.
Funny.
Where did my layer go? Oh, wait. There it is. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's got to go back to, didn't Errol Flynn, didn't he have like the big swoopy mustache and then the goatee? Like, that's who I always think of first when I associate with pirate.
Oh, Errol Flynn?
Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
Where are my layers? There we go. That's not what I wanted.
Nope, that's the wrong. Jeez.
Okay. Why aren't we?
Oh, Van Dyke? Oh, let's see. That's the internet. I believe you. I trust but verify, Jesse Betts.
Like it's called a Dick Van Dyke?
It's just called a Van Dyke. Okay, yeah. Yep, it's mustache with lower goatee without them being connected. Hey, now we know.
Wow.
Van Dyke. Thank you, Jesse Betts.
Guess I could see it.
Oops. Yeah.
I guess I should give him the. I wasn't gonna, but I will. No. Our keys.
Boop. Boop. Yeah. Bam. Sorry, I'm cracking myself up.
All right. I did everything except for his little rat hands, which is what I've been procrastinating on because I tried so hard and it just wasn't working. Which means now I have to draw the little rat hands. I don't want to. Because they like, it should be so simple, but they're not.
Oh boy. Did you guys ever watch the old D&D PBH PSAs? Because they're back. Or PHP. Sorry. I don't know what that is. Please give me more information.
PHB PSAs? I mean, maybe instead of PHB, it's PBS.
PBS.
I could believe that PBS made some "don't let your kids play D&D, it brings in the devil" nonsense.
Yeah.
But I don't remember PBS ever doing that. They were usually pretty cool about odd things.
Yeah. Player Handbook.
Oh, Player Handbook.
Okay. Player
makes more
Handbook
sense.
public service announcements. No. I do not know those. I have not watched those. Are they on YouTube? Because I will go watch them. Oops. Wrong
Are
layer.
they informative or funny? Like, what's the
Or both.
what's the gist?
The iconic third edition characters gave short speeches. Okay, so follow-up question to that. Is it something I'm going to get without understanding the lore as I started at 3.5? Am I going to get the joke is really what I want to know.
Is it funny to me?
Okay. Oh, okay. I like that. So they had zero lore. This was them adding lore to the blank slate illustrations. Okay, that's fun. So they are making new ones, or the originals are now resurfacing themselves. I think that's how words work. I can't. I think my medicine is starting to wear off. My brain is getting very foggy. I might have to call it after this one illustration. Making new ones. All right. We got there. You're selling me on this. I am now curious. All right.
All right, we'll call it. It's a rat hand. That's all it needs to be. Doesn't need to be pretty. Just needs to hold stuff.
It was before Paizo had done all this weightlifting of adding lore to their iconic characters. Someone at Wizards had the idea that whenever they commissioned art of a rogue, it should be Lita the Halfling Rogue. Okay. This is fun. Also, I apologize for any of those that I have mispronounced.
Why are you not doing the thing?
But no one had ever let them flesh it out, so it's just blank slate characters that were always in horrible situations, like the use magic device entry had poor Lita with what looked like the magic equivalent of an exploding cigar. Oh, that's very fun.
I think I'll move on to my next one.
I was gonna say, Mayor Squish, where are you at?
I'm pretty much done.
I was gonna say, if we just want to wrap now, I'm just fiddling with the last little bits of mine. We can do our wrap up, and Swan goes and gets more medicine. Actually, I kind of like that. Yeah. Yeah. Let me clear my layers out on this stuff. Nope, wrong thing. There is that layer. There it is. All right. Nope.
I mean, the programs do help. They have all kinds of color coding, but do we use them? No. Do they have search functions and guides and everything? And I feel like it's a complaint that artists always have. It's like I can never find my layers. So the program people put in those options. Do we use them?
Nah. I'm just gonna struggle.
Yep, we just want to complain. We don't want fixes. No take, only throw.
There we go. That's
no fetch, only play.
Somehow I managed to rotate the thing, and I don't know how I did that, but it's fine. Everything is fine. Oh, I made it mad. There we go. Okay, Mayor
I'll load in
Squish, would you
Nido
like to
Queen,
go
looks like.
first?
Sure.
Right. Slide you over. He's so fun. Man, look at
So
that.
this is Picasso.
He
He's a very bright character.
is. Poe would be
Which-
horrified.
Yes, exactly. But yeah.
That's awesome. I like it. I like how you did the hair. I feel like that's
Yeah.
I like
Oh,
the eyes. I mean, I know it's very Picasso-like, but having the eyes facing the two different directions, it really makes you double take the entire image.
yeah.
Because like you zero in on the eyes and then it makes you look around a little bit longer.
I dig it. I dig it. Yay! Oh, he's fun. Also, I feel like it's impressive because he still feels like Poe, even though I always think of Poe as very like, well, I always think of him as grayscale and black and white, but
I think
yeah.
it's the high collar. He
Yeah.
wore a lot of clothes. Like
He
he
did.
seemed very, I don't know, prudish.
He's a weird dude.
Did he also have the what did we call it with the goatee, or did he just have a mustache?
I think he just had the mustache.
He
at
just
least
had
in
the
the picture.
Yeah, he did not have the Van Dyke.
Van Dyke, thank you. I
Yes.
already forgot what it was, even though we were just told what it was.
I have it open in a tab on my computer, which is how I remembered it. So, yes. Yeah, awesome. And hey, if people want to follow you, where can they follow you?
You can find me everywhere on the internet at Mayor Squish Art. Or just Mayor Squish.
Yay. All right. So, we can take a look at this one that you just started, which the colors are already looking so super cute. And they match you today.
Yes, I guess they do. I've been really into like space patterns lately. Like I just got new iPhone case space pattern, and like my iPhone is space pattern, and all my like stuff to carry my wires and stuff in are all space. I'm just really into space pattern. Anyway,
Awesome.
not intentional. Yeah, so this one was one I was just applying color to. This is Knit O Queen. Knit O Queen.
She is a queen. I love her. Also, she looks so cozy, and it just makes me so happy.
Right? The warm weather, especially because we were talking before about how dreary it is. I think it's raining for all of us right now.
Yep. Yeah, she would definitely be like the mom friend who would have like a hot cup of cocoa ready for you and like, so cozy.
That was Knit O Queen. And then some of the ones that unfortunately I didn't get to was I was going to do a War Tortellini.
Look at him!
And then a Unicone, like an ice cream cone, but it was going to be Galarian Rapidash. So I didn't unfortunately get to those. But the one I did finish was Pyratita.
Yeah.
Which I spent way too much time playing with the colors, but that's just because that's what I do.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah. Pyratita, and I was saying Nido Queen. Nido Queen. So those are my punny Pokemon that I did for today.
Well, I would say the rat hands, despite giving you trouble, look very good.
Thank you.
Yes.
Rat hands.
Rat hands. Yeah, and if people want to follow you, see more of your stuff, or see when you post stuff, where can they follow you?
So I'm kind of like rebranding. I know that it says Keah Creations there. I actually changed it recently to just Keah Art because I'm kind of separating my art from like, cosplay stuff and stuff like that. So, yes.
I can fix
it. So, yeah, due to other things, I have to start separating the two. So, yeah, Keah Art, I'm going to be that on ArtStation, Instagram, probably not Twitter. We'll see what happens with Twitter.
Yeah. Just watching Twitter. Just sitting back and watching it.
It kind of, I mean, I hate to say, but it kind of feels nice that like of the platforms that I'm big on, it's not one of those having the drama. Now it's just like a secondary one for once.
Yep. Very cool. Yes. Yay! Ah, it's so fun. I gotta find my thing. Where's my thing? There it is. All right. And then I almost finished. It's mostly finished. I was just tweaking the last little bits. So yeah, got Defying Gravity Falls. I can't decide if I like the show through thing or not. Nope, that's the wrong thing. There we go. So yeah, because the Wicked poster has white text. So might noodle with that a little bit. But it was very weird. I had to decide, which I'm still not sure on. They are not cel shaded or anything, which makes them look very incomplete to me. But I might go in and just add just a little bit of shading just to kind of mirror the Wicked poster. Yeah, defying gravity falls.
That would be an interesting story.
It would be, but also I just love Dipper and Mabel so much that I would not be sad to see more of them. So, which actually, as we were talking about, I was like, I kind of want to go watch Gravity Falls. Maybe that's what I'll do while I sit on the couch and eat my soup. Yeah, this is super, super fun. I'm glad we finally got to do this one. Chat, if you have any punny mashups you'd like to see us do, we're happy to bring this back, especially if you are doing the brain work. Because this was a lot more brain work than I was expecting. But no, this was awesome. If you want to Soup plus Gravity Falls. Yes, Vineyard Warrior says, wonderful job. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for hanging out with us. If you want to see more Doodle Crew, we're at Doodle Crew Draw all across the internet. Posts, I think usually the new episodes go up on YouTube on Fridays, and art posts happen on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We are not on Twitter. Well, no, we are on Twitter. I lied. But I don't post art there. I just post that we're doing stuff. I'm bad at this. My brain is so done. But yeah, also we have a great link tree. So if I did not give you all the information that you required, you can go over there and find more. But we will be back. We have a few more episodes coming up before the end of the year. So check us out. Come see us. And thank you all. Goodbye.